Hi, I'm Caity Green.
Hi, and I'm Dan Green, and welcome back to the Greening Out podcast.
We just want to say a really big thank you, first of all. People have been sending in really nice messages and emails, kind words, supporting the show, and I just want to say a really big thank you, especially to those who donated. It's helping us to make this show better. You might have noticed we've not been around. We might not have noticed, that's okay. But we are back now, and we will be doing, we're aiming to do, maybe at least one a week or something, just to keep it
More
going.
regular, yeah.
More regular, and we're also keeping up on the Twitter. And again, thank you to people on Twitter for following, especially people within the last week or so. It's really gone well.
Yeah. So, today's topic.
Yes.
Now, we're going to base this on, I wrote an article last week and I called it Embracing Artificiality.
Yeah.
A philosophical look at RuPaul. Now, for anyone who doesn't know RuPaul, do you want to tell us
Well,
about it?
RuPaul is just oh my goodness, this is blasphemy. I think RuPaul is fantastic. I really respect him. He's a drag queen who is based over in the States, and he was a model in the 90s, quite big. He's just fantastic, and now he's got this show, RuPaul's Drag Race, and it's really good, and Dan wrote a really good article about it.
Well, yeah, it was because we watched that, and everything about it's completely artificial. I mean, he's a man, and he dresses up as a woman, but
Yes.
very audaciously, with massive overstated wigs,
It's very big.
overstated gowns, and also his music, which features heavily within the show,
Yes.
is auto-tuned. His singing, his vocals are auto-tuned beyond belief. But what I think about it is he seems, I don't know RuPaul personally, I'm just putting this out there,
Yes,
this is
neither
just
of us
my
do.
reading of it, but it seems to me like he's embraced artificiality. He celebrates it because everything about him is artificial, but it's not in a bad way. I think it's conscious. I think that he seems to consciously embrace this artificial sort
Another
of...
thing, just to make a point, is though it's realness is something that really focuses heavy in the show.
They use that
for
word
them,
a lot, yeah.
For them, this is their realness. This artificiality. That's what I really love about it, is because it's so in your face, fakery, if you will, without using that word in a bad way.
Yeah, but
And
they
I
embrace
think
it.
it's really fantastic.
See, I think it's good, what he's doing, versus sort of... I see a lot of people in, for example, normal life,
Yes.
and they buy into our mainstream culture, which is highly artificial, but they don't realise that it is artificial. They think that's real life. They think that's what...
That's what reality is.
Yeah, but there's no... But I think if you... I think the problem is they're not bringing any level of consciousness to their life, but it seems to me like RuPaul, he consciously knows what he's doing.
Absolutely. He does it very well.
And he embraces it, because I think you can talk to a lot of people, and some people are so wound up in their different stuff, Some people are wound up in, maybe they're a doctor, and you say, who are you? What are you about? And they go, well, I'm a doctor. And they talk about maybe the roles they play in society instead of who they really are, what they really are inside. It's more like what kind of role they're playing is all, and that's what people seem to talk about. And I think at times there's no level of consciousness there. I think that's lacking in our society in a big way.
I think it is. I do sort of worry about that, and that's something that I've been sort of focused on myself for the last month or two, quite heavily. I've noticed within the people I'm meeting every day, whether it be in work or socially, people play roles quite a lot, and it's interesting. If I could just bring it back to the artificiality we were talking about.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I'd like to also talk about, I was reading a really interesting article about this woman who had gone to Peru to do ayahuasca.
Yeah.
And with the shamans.
See, just before we go into the ayahuasca thing, just mention one we know that I just thought about. I was just thinking that, see, this whole, we're talking about people not bringing a level of consciousness.
Yeah.
This isn't anything new. We're not new in discovering, realising this, because this goes way back to Buddhism. The Buddhists talk about mindfulness and always being conscious of your actions. So it's not like something we've just discovered, but still, the Buddhists have been talking about this for thousands of years, and like people still don't seem to get it. But
I know.
sorry, this kind of ties in because you were going to talk about ayahuasca and this whole spiritual level.
Yeah, I was thinking about it on a spiritual level, and it's interesting. I was reading an article. This woman had gone to Peru to actually stay with the shamans and to take the ayahuasca in an environment where it was regulated, it was safe, because I think that's a big part of psychedelic. You know, if you're going to do something such a psychedelic, you need to obviously be very, very prepared.
Yeah, I think it's important to mention, if anyone doesn't
altering
know,
your reality.
The ayahuasca contains dimethyltryptamine,
DMT,
or what we call DMT, which is the most powerful hallucinogen known to man. And it has been used by the shamans in South America for, oh God, it must be thousands of years now.
I don't know how long, but it must be.
To evoke visions.
Yes.
And I know we were talking about this, and you were saying, like, it is like, those visions can be artificial.
They're
because they're hallucinations.
Yes, what it is, it's artificial. It's something that, this is when you really start to think about it, your mind can kind of melt a little bit, especially if you are inebriated in any way at all. You may start to realise this is quite a mind.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Are we going to swear on this show?
I think we can swear.
It's a mind fuck, basically, is what it is.
For fuck's sake.
I know. Fuck it. It's a mind fuck because you delve into something within yourself, when you take something like ayahuasca, and from what I read, this woman experienced something that was so real to her that it was tactile. She could feel things, she was seeing things. It was incredibly real. So that really did happen to her, although we could say it's completely artificial. It was a making of her own mind, but that affected her life in such a way.
Yeah, so her life was changed. So what we could say is that she also did embrace the artificiality in a way, because she saw hallucinations that we could say no one else could see, so we could say they weren't real.
Yes.
Let's not get into a debate about, you know, whether there's real spirits or anything. Let's just say, because we couldn't see them, let's take that approach and say, so maybe those hallucinations weren't real from what we would call, you know, quote unquote real. So, but they had a real effect on her. So that artificiality actually had an effect in that woman's real life when she wasn't under the influence of the hallucinogen. Yeah,
exactly. Had a lasting effect.
Yeah, so then like.
So that's I know some people might say, "Oh, you're kind of going a bit far away from the subject," but I don't really care because I'm talking about artificiality.
This is our podcast. We can talk about it.
Yeah, whatever. You know, if you don't like it, turn it off. Whatever.
Turn it off. Whatever.
But basically, in our lives, we should be totally conscious of every decision that we're making. You know, why am I doing this? Am I doing this for good reason, or am I doing this? People don't usually think that. People just go, I want that, this is what I want to do, and that's it. People rarely think why. And from what I've been doing, and it's really, really interesting, just the last 6 months or so, whenever anybody tells me any information, I try my very best not to automatically react.
Yeah.
I assess it. It's almost like an antivirus for my brain.
The worst thing you can do, and I think what a lot of people do, and you see the press like baiting people into doing it.
Emotional reaction.
Yeah, it's just to completely act emotionally.
Yeah.
And totally bypass your sort of normal mental reaction and just go straight for the emotional reaction before you've even assessed what the information is. And the press love to do that because it's so easy.
Yeah. I mean, always the media. I mean, I know I sound like putting on a tinfoil hat. People will call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever. The media, it's all fake. It's all designed, and it's amazing the amount of people you say that to, and they go, "Oh yeah, I know." But why do you still
know? Because there's been that old slogan for years, like, "Oh, do you believe everything you read in the papers?" You know how you've heard that in films and you know,
if you don't believe me, open up a newspaper and read the fear mongering of everything.
Well, this is interesting.
But this
as well,
is a bit of a different topic. I don't want to go too far.
I think we're still on the point of living consciously, which is kind of the point. And I think as well, because like you get different types. Like we identify ourselves as libertarians, right?
Yes,
but we would describe ourselves as say deontological libertarians as opposed to consequentialist libertarians, because we like to what we like to do is we like to
Like
go
to
by. Yeah, I like to think. I know that sounded weird, right? No, but we like to go by principles. So
Yes.
everything we do, we start off from 2 basic principles. So the first principle being the non-aggression principle.
And the
For anyone who
second-
doesn't know, though, don't initiate force against someone who, don't initiate force. It's okay to defend yourself if
Yes.
someone's initiated force
and see
or
if
violence
everybody
against you.
if everybody follows that rule, there shouldn't be any violence.
Yeah,
That's, do not. You can
Initiate
defend. You can defend yourself, but do not initiate it with anybody.
and then as well, the other one is property rights.
Yes.
Respect other
somebody's
people's property. And like I keep saying in my articles, if you don't think that there's such a thing as property rights, and I steal your car,
Then there's
and suddenly you might feel differently. Prudent, but that's
No.
actually, to be honest, that's a very kind of unfair comment for Prudent, but he's been dead for a while, so I don't think he'll bother.
I don't really think he's going to take it personally.
But what I'm saying is that ties into living consciously as well, because
Yes.
I know what's been annoying you is that people don't live consciously, because you hear people and they make different statements about different things.
Mm-hmm.
So all that proves is that they live a life without thinking in a philosophical structure.
Yeah.
So their life is full of contradictions and fallacies, and you see it all the time, because
Yeah.
not a lot of people, less than should, think in a proper philosophical context. And that's another fact about living consciously. You have to be aware of what your opinions are.
Yeah. Just on that note, what I'd like to say is that we're really interested in interviewing people who think alike but also do not think alike. We'd be quite interested in speaking to people who agree with us and disagree with us, basically. And we have had a few really, really great people contacting us, and we are organising interviews with them. And it's quite exciting for us because we've yet to have a guest on the show, so we're really excited about the prospect of it. So I just want to say, in keeping with that, if you have an opinion about something that we've talked about on this or any other show, obviously being in Scotland, we're particularly interested in any opinions about the referendum. It's coming up in September.
We're very interested in that, because we will be doing more upcoming podcasts
about that,
on that.
based on it.
We have a lot of opinions you might not like, but then if you've read my article, you might expect that from us anyway.
Yeah,
so.
I think if you're here, then maybe you are a yes, maybe you're a no, maybe you're a I don't know, maybe you're a I don't care. I would really, we would be really interested in hearing about people, because
basically, again, it keeps tying in with what we're talking about. We want to hear from people who are living consciously in Scotland and who are thinking about these things, because
it's a big thing,
because that ties into our problem as well. About how some people are just not consciously, they're acting emotionally to the referendum again, and they're not really thinking about it logically, they're not thinking about it economically, they're just acting with whatever their gut reaction is. Some people's gut reaction is Scotland independent, some people's gut reaction is
fear, I don't want to
stay in Britain, I love the Queen and all this kind of nonsense.
But I would really just like to hear about what people's logical reasonings are for whatever decision that they're leaning towards. And so I'm really quite excited about it. I'm really, really, really psyched about the future of the show. Yeah,
so get in touch with us. It's been a wee short podcast.
So thank you so much for listening. Please get in touch with us. We are at greenitpodcast.co.uk.
Yep.
We've got Dan's blog on there. He's been doing some more articles as well. He's also been doing audio versions of his articles. In case you're on the go like me and Dan and I are, we put podcasts and audio versions of things on our MP3 player. And also, a new piece of writing from me will be in issue 3 of the Great Scottish Arts Journal, The Grind. the-grind.co.uk. Check it out. Lots of great art and writing from Scotland. Yeah, a lot of really, really good stuff in there. I quite like it. If you go to their website, if you go to the Grind's website, they have archives of some of the stuff from their previous 2 issues, so it's pretty cool. Okay, so thanks for listening, and live consciously. Yes, live as consciously as you can. Don't just buy into what the mainstream media tell you is cool or is right.
think for yourself.
And we really want to encourage you, if you agree with us, get in touch. If you want to just email and say, fuck you, I don't agree with you, do that as well.
As
I
always.
don't care.
And if you like artificiality and you consciously like to embrace it like RuPaul does, then we say congratulations.
Congratulations and good night.
You do it. With that said, thanks for listening. greeningoutpodcast.co.uk. We'll see you later.